Well, folks, would you look at that? So-called asylum seekers are protesting on the streets of New York City after being evicted from their taxpayer-funded luxury hotel rooms. Of course, they don't want to leave their cushy Hell's Kitchen and Times Square pads, complete with room service and amenities, to go where they should have been sent all along, a migrant center in Brooklyn. That's not luxe enough for people who claim they had to flee to the USA due to oppression, death, despair, and threat to life they face in their home countries. Yeah, asylum seekers, my ass. And keep in mind, most of these illegals being asked to leave are adult males who were given free rooms at the $300 per night Hell's Kitchen Watson Hotel. Well, they refuse to vacate because that's how entitled and emboldened they are, and instead are choosing to protest outside of the hotel, joined by so-called migrant activists. Well, here's an idea, activists. Why don't you house their asses? Take one for the cause, for the social justice team. Or here's another idea. There are plenty of wealthy celebrities in New York City that fancy themselves social justice activists and immigration supporters.
I'm waiting to find out, because all of these states that have sent us folks, because they're mad that people don't come directly to New York, they're mad that people are coming, by bus and all these states get money. I don't understand why Texas isn't sharing some of that money.
The federal government money.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to do that, that's where I would go for them. Colorado, listen, I know you sent all these folks, maybe you didn't realize, but you need to send some cash. Because you're doing exactly now what you're accusing the federal government of not doing. You're doing the same thing. So I want to see somebody say, hold up. Either we all take this money and we give it to all the states and people deal with it because everybody's getting it, or you're not going to get it, and we're going to have a big fight. There has to be an adult in the room, and my concern is that there isn't, and there's not going to be for some time. We'll see what they do. You can do nothing but sit and watch.
Well, how about it, Whoopi? Got some room in your pad for these downtrodden, able-bodied, legal immigrant adult males? I'm sure Joy Behar does. Or would that be a safety risk for you? Newsflash, how do you think the good-paying customers of these luxury hotels feel being forced to room next to largely unvetted and certainly undocumented illegals from around the frickin' world? They had to pay drug cartels to get over here so as to suck off American taxpayers, but now the conditions at the migrant center aren't good enough? Maybe the solution to end all of this is to send them to Steph Curry's neighborhood in Atherton, California. This whole thing would be over real quick. Oh, but here's NYC Law and Order Mayor Eric Adams assuring y'all that these illegals are being treated like the American dreamers he thinks they are.
It doesn't matter if it's Ellis Island or the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal or it's any of our ports. It is all rooted in the American dream. You pursue the dream here. And when you meet someone like Wilson, you walk through. I just had to come here when I started hearing all the rumors about it was too cold. My brother got on shorts, he's inside, it's warm inside. About the food not being there. Healthy food is present, even the snacks are healthy.
Well, shoot, Eric, that crisis center isn't a 4-star hotel, but it sure looks a hell of a lot more cushy than the benches homeless veterans are sleeping on in parks in the dead of winter. This is also infuriating, it really is. You know our country is being run by total imbeciles when illegal immigrants feel emboldened to demand luxury stays in fancy hotels. Asylum seekers, my ass, deport now. It's a conundrum as old as, well, around 2019. How do liberals reconcile their feminist empowerment movement with their need to placate the radical LGBTQ mafia? Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, they, thems, and it's not like this. What you're taking in there is the world's first, and after this, quite possibly last, transgender figure skater Mina Maria. When she was a he picked up the sport at the nimble age of 49, and now at age 57 and as a female, she performed during the opening ceremony of the European Figure Skating Championships in Finland, and it didn't go so hot. But everyone had to pretend it was fantastic because accepting reality would be transphobic and bigoted and would activate and piss off the rainbow mafia, of course. Folks, perhaps we've found the sport biological males do not have an advantage in, or perhaps this person should not be and would not be performing at a professional level if not for its useless accolade of declaring itself trans and then putting on a skirt. For the love of God, end the clown show. The emperor has no clothes, people, and it's okay to say it. Rainbow Mafia be damned. But on to my next loser of the week, someone who is also undeserving of the position he was vote by mailed into, Joe Biden, of course. Here's Joe posing in the new Hummer EV, which costs between $87,000 and $110,000 depending on the model. That's far more than the median American salary for those who still choose to work of about $56,000 per year. Oh, and to add insult to injury, the Hummer EV Joe is so smugly posing in does not actually qualify for that measly $7,500 tax credit anyway, since it costs more than the $80,000 threshold, but still less than one of Hunter Biden's paintings. But beyond all of that, I'm mostly concerned that Joe Biden is behind the wheel and allowed to drive, especially without his mask. And sadly, I don't think that Hummer is going to fit in his garage, and that's what you call a Hummer bummer. But on to my final loser of the week, the fifth highest paid athlete in the entire world, Steph Curry. Yes, the NBA superstar and notable Joe Biden supporter is actively working to keep an affordable housing development out of the vicinity of his $30 million Atherton, California mansion. In a letter to town officials, he and his wife Aisha wrote, "We hesitate to add to the not in our backyard, literally, rhetoric, but we wanted to send a note before today's meeting. Safety and privacy for us and our kids continues to be our top priority and one of the biggest reasons we chose Atherton as home." Well, imagine that. Steph Curry, a social justice warrior, an uplifter of the oppressed and disenfranchised, doesn't want peasants too close to his mansion and family. And it gets better. Not only does he not want them housed near him, he petitioned the local government to build fencing and shrubbery around their home to keep the peasants from seeing him if he couldn't block them from joining the neighborhood entirely. I mean, this is some LOL, WTF, OMG stuff right there. Fifth highest paid athlete in the world wants the city to fund fencing and bushes to keep the poor from looking at him. Also odd coming from a Biden supporter, given those kind of folks insist walls don't work. But this just goes to show rich liberals love equality and opportunity for the less fortunate, so long as it's not anywhere near them. Ain't that something?